Hello everyone. Today I'm going to try and share my story of recovery, addiction and recovery. So, if you don't yet know, my name is Casey and I'm a recovering addict. I was in active addiction for 12 years. I sought for and began recovery 17 years ago. And this is my story. So, I was born out of wedlock to an alcoholic mother, an alcoholic father that were not married. A fast child. Some would say. I'm a recovering addict at the end of the day, though. So, my mom was an alcoholic. My dad was an alcoholic. My grandpa. A couple great uncles. A couple sisters, and therefore, and brothers, I knew what alcoholism was. And I was never going to have to deal with that. That would never be me. And it wasn't, Instead, I went down another path. I wish I hadn't, but I can't go back. I can only go forward. I've never worked harder on anything in my life as I did my addiction. I would have done anything for that next fix, just about anything. You'd work all day to achieve that one fix. As soon as you get it, you don't get to just relax and kick back. No, it's time to start working on the next one, Where's the next one going to come from? Don't want to be sick tomorrow. I could never commit to anything or anyone. I couldn't even commit to a color. I went full force into this thing called addiction. Full force. I still to this day don't have a favorite color. I just can't. Addiction and alcoholism are cunning. They're baffling. They are powerful. They do not discriminate. They don't care if you're rich or poor, If you sit at home all day or you work, in a top-notch office somewhere, At my worst, I weighed 80 pounds. I can remember after I got clean, seeing pictures of myself, and it was almost unrecognizable. It made me sad. I had bones showing, and I thought that I looked good. I really did. My life was falling apart. I'd smoked everything but my shoelaces. I had lost out in life already. In my early 20s, I'd already made choices that led me down a path of just destruction. Total destruction. I was a walking time bomb. And I did manage to still get my high school diploma during the time that was just when I was starting out, though, you know. It hadn't got so hardcore yet. See, I got married when I was 15. I had my first kid by the time I turned 16. I worked at McDonald's, made enough money to get my first car. My husband destroyed it. He got another woman pregnant. She had a baby at the same time I had a baby. You know, this was my first thing I'd ever known of love or anything. And, it became a good excuse for me to do some of the things I began to do. I started using meth at 18, or crank, what we would call crank then. And, you know, you gotta thank God for the things that didn't work out sometimes, that at the time we're sad about. I can remember thinking it was a bad thing that, you know, a pan of the stuff didn't work out, didn't go right, that some friends were trying to make, and we were all excited about. We was going to have all this money and stuff, and it didn't work out. It didn't turn out right. It never turned out right, and it was just for the best. It was what was meant to be, you know. So, at 18, I had my first place. It was an apartment. I was placed next door to a drug addict. He was already a felon. He already had been to pain clinics. There just wasn't a whole lot of motivation for me to do right, seeing, you know, all this go on around me. I mean, it was nothing at this complex, hardly, but people that didn't have nothing better to do, they just all stayed home, just basically, you know. What do you think's going to happen? What do you think they're all, you know, half of them, or most of them are doing? You know, nothing real good can come out of those situations. You put everybody that close together and, you know, maybe 2 people have jobs in the whole complex. But anyhow, I quit my second job after I got a TV. You know, I was working 11 to 7 shifts. But I was working, you know. I had hopes, I had goals. I was just having a little fun at that time. But it all went so wrong. So wrong. Some people end up doing a lot of jail time. Some people end up doing prison time. I did jail time. I'm not proud of what I did. I'm not proud of anything I did. But at my worst, I ended up taking over $1,500. And it did not go well. Anyhow. But that's how I got off Oxycontin. And when I got out, buddy, after that 2 weeks of pure heck coming off of that stuff, I didn't go back to it. I knew I was done. That was it for me. I didn't have to go back. I was done. I'd been away from it that long enough that I could walk away. So, by 19, I was divorced. Engaged to someone else, someone new. My second child was born in 2001. By 2003, I had a third child, all girls, and nobody wanted me to keep the baby. So I gave it up for adoption, and it was hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do. in 2010, I decided to change my life, and I did. Now, was it easy at first to do anything close to that? No. No, it was a battle. I was at the recovery center every day from the time they would open, before they would open, waiting for them to open to the time they would close, and then until they I'd come back as soon as they'd reopen, every day. And I would do service work. I would just, time is a big deal. Manage it right, you can stay clean. Have something to do. Make sure you keep busy. But don't get overwhelmed. Thank you.